Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It's Wyo again, and we are in for another episode of Monsters and Motorcycles, number 2 this time. Now, I know a lot of you, well, I got like 9 or 10 subscribers at this point, so there's not a lot of anybody, but some of you are looking forward to the exhaust, air intake, and tune that's coming up. Have no fear, those are still coming. My wife actually gave me a call about an hour ago, let me know that the mufflers had arrived. So I'm pretty excited about that, but it looks like the weather is quickly taking a nosedive. And since our garage got turned into a craft room instead of a garage, I may have to shove the muffler and air intake installs and videos and run all that at one night. That'll be frustrating because I got to get all that done before I head over to Harley and get the tune on Saturday. Anywho, yeah, I told you guys I hate this thing. Okay, well, I didn't say hate. I think I said I hate it. No, there's no love, but I don't hate it. Now it's slowly developing into a I actually hate it. Anyway, so let's get back to Monsters and Motorcycles, shall we? I'm gonna try to get through this in one take, do a little editing. I might have to cut some stuff up because it's gonna get real personal here in a minute. So if you don't know, Monsters and Motorcycles is a very specific playlist that I'm coming up with to talk about post-traumatic stress in veterans and first responders, and how a lot of us use motorcycles as a part of our therapy. Not a replacement, but a part. And I was working on coming up with some content for this because I want to put out one of these videos every 2 weeks, especially, you know, during July when it's the big PTSD awareness month. And as I was starting to think about, alright, well, maybe I should start from the beginning. Not the beginning when I started to get all messed up, but the beginning when I started recognizing that I had a problem and maybe I needed to get some help. And then I found out yesterday, halfway through my work shift, that someone pretty important to me, 2 years, he was a co-worker, he was a veteran. From all understandings of talking to other soldiers that he served with, he was a damn fine NCO. Well, turns out the gentleman that helped me recognize that the career wasn't just changing me, it was actually destroying me. It just took his life a couple days ago. And it's pretty heartbreaking. I would even maybe just define it as a little soul crushing to know that the one person who had more of an impact on me to help me get my recovery started and fight through this thing actually gave up the fight a couple days ago. And holy crap, woo! I said that and didn't lose it. I don't know if I should be impressed with myself or if I should look at and say, wow, you really are messed up if you can talk about that with a straight face. So yeah, let's get back to this, right? So everybody walks into the military, or at least should, and everybody walks into a career as a first responder, or at least should, knowing that that life is gonna change them a little bit. And unless they've got a whole lot of family members or close friends that have really prepared them for that, they don't know where that line of this is how much it should change me really is. Like, they think that, oh, because everybody else is this particular way, that it's all right, that's how I should be too. And I very much got into that mindset, even though I have family members before me that were military. So over the years of being in the fire department and private ambulance service, I didn't really notice that I could walk onto a multi-vehicle pile-up, 30-40 cars, interstate's got, you know, a lane shut down, everything's going crazy. I could just walk on scene and be like, all right, 13, take care of this, 19, take care of that, 22, you're over here. I'm gonna go meet with state troopers and fire rescue, see what's going on. And it was just normal. It was every day. It was nothing. But to sit down and go through the bills and schedule out all the checks and all that was just mind-blowing, stressful. I couldn't handle something as simple as balancing a checkbook, even though there was plenty of money in the account. It wasn't like I was stressing because how am I gonna pay these bills? I was stressing because everything in life that you have to chip away at little by little, that you can't just magically walk on scene and make it go away right here, right now, let's do this, was massive amounts of stress. My brain had reprogrammed itself to only know the rush, the instant. And I just didn't see that happening to myself over the course of a decade until here I am, brand new city, going through a divorce, brand new job, no friends, no support system, trying to survive on my own, and I can't handle the simplest of things. My entire measure of who I am and what I'm worth is my ability to lead and teach all the crews that are working for me. And it was dark. I felt more alone than I ever had in my entire life. Even though I'm going out drinking, you know, with the ambulance crews every few nights, and it's just not something I can really put in words. But then there was this one guy. He recognized some of the symptoms that he had developed in years prior. and just started striking up conversations. And little by little, we went over it. And I started looking up to this guy. And you know, hey, how do you hide it so well? Like, mine's starting to show, and you've been through just as much as I have. And he just said it's easy. You don't actually have to defeat the monsters. All you have to do is learn how to kick the monsters in the face so that they'll crawl back underneath your bed for a minute. So when you have people over and they're passing by your room, if they look inside, they don't see anything underneath your bed. Like, wow. That's kind of depressing, brother. There's got to be more. There's got to be somewhere. And so we started talking. And eventually we came to the realization, as we started talking to a couple more guys, all four of us, between the military and EMS, a couple of us fire rescue, that it took more courage to admit that something was very, very wrong and that we really needed some help than the amount of courage it took to just wake up, shave our faces, and go pull a 12, 24, 48, whatever we had that day, pretending that absolutely nothing was wrong. And a couple of us, you know, started seeing a guy. I personally refused to see somebody that didn't even spend a couple minutes in the military, because that's not where the majority of my monsters are from. But it had to be somebody that I could you know, I had some semblance in my brain that this individual could understand the terminology and sort of what I went through, you know? I didn't want to say something like, well, you know, I was over there playing in the sandbox, and have some, well, could you explain that? No, man, I'm getting to a point like where we can have like some breakthrough or something. I don't want to explain to you what the hell the sandbox is. But the guy who started it for all four of us got us all realizing that something was really wrong, that the job, the life, wasn't just changing us, it was actually destroying us. Ended up being the one that gave up. So the takeaway from episode number 2 is that if you got too much pride to go get some help, a fear that the rest of your crew is going to view you differently because you start getting some help, believe me when I tell you, 4 out of 4 guys, both first responders and vets, all unanimously agree it takes a whole lot more courage to go get some help than it does to sit and hide in the corner and pretend that everything's okay. Hopefully I got something better for you guys next time. I just had to be very picky, selective even, of the words that I used and how closely I touched this subject. Because nobody wants to be the guy that just absolutely loses it and has to re-edit the whole scene. And then before I close this thing out, I want to make a challenge. If you are a rider or moto vlogger that's suffering from post-traumatic stress, or you think you are, I'm challenging you to go talk to somebody one time, no commitments, no promises, just walk in one time, just say, hey, I think I got a problem, I want to talk to somebody about it. Tell me the direction that you like to go in, or that you prefer to go in when you're working with somebody that has these kind of issues. And remember, there's 50,000 shrinks in this country. I'm not gonna go into this big spiel of stuff that I learned taking some psychology classes in college about the different schools of psychology and how they all attack the different problems different ways. I'm just gonna tell you, there's the right head doctor for everybody. And if you were a moto vlogger with post-traumatic stress, I challenge you to make one video this month, you know, post-traumatic stress awareness month, to discuss what riding motorcycles does for you and encourage anyone else that might be a subscriber of yours suffering from post-traumatic stress to go get some help. And don't get me wrong, post-traumatic stress isn't a joke regardless of what brought it into your life. You don't have to be a veteran or a first responder to be suffering from some serious post-traumatic stress. Hell, your mom could have spun you on the merry-go-round just a little bit too fast. You flew off, landed face first into one of the other rides at the park, and that's haunted you all your life. I'm not going to undermine what you're going through just because serving your community or your country was not how you got all jacked up in the head. But that's it for now. I'm gonna go take a look at my shiny new exhaust, well, mufflers to be more, slip-ons to be more exact. And I will catch you guys in 2 weeks for episode 3. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.